Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal. And today we have got a really relevant topic for a lot of you, and that is about playing the hand that you actually got dealt. I'm going to be doing a little bit of catch up on birthdays and anniversaries to start with after I get warm. But after that, we will get into the topic itself. So, just going to organize a couple of screens. Unfortunately, with the live broadcast, you can't do that until you actually are live. So that's why it always frustrates me that I need to do that once I'm on. But I'll live with it, no problem. And I've got one more screen I need to get hold of, and then we're going to be ready. And that's not the one, of course. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. That's the one I want. And then we will have everything ready, hopefully. Hi there, Jodi. How are you doing? I got just one screen that I need to sort out, and then we're done. I wish that I could get all this done before you hit the go button, but you can't. You have to wait until you're on the air before you can actually do it, which is really frustrating for me. All right, but it is what it is. So I'm going to play the hand I'm dealt. That is our subject today, after all. And be grateful for what I've got, right? All right, Jodi, thank you so much for all that you did at lunchtime broadcast. That was awesome of you. I really, really appreciated that. Yeah, I'm good. And I've got to remember that I can actually cut out those beginning bits on the replay. And in fact, I should do that. Just requires that I learn that. Just while we're waiting for people to come in here, that, yeah, I downloaded that program and I started to work with it. And I've got news for you. I'm not a stupid person. I know that. But boy, it can make you feel stupid. I'm certain, like everything else, it's easy to do once you know how to do it. But boy, it's the most difficult of any program I've looked at so far. So I wrote to Sophie and told her I'm not sure if I like her anymore. But it's a good thing for me to play with it because I will find out a lot about it. Oh yeah, I want to tell you something. It's way the most difficult of any that I've seen. The ones that I work with are sort of pretty advanced, but nothing like that one. And the other thing is, when you want a color, you can't just say, okay, fine, that's the color I want, that yellowy one up there. You've got to actually know what its official name is, and that would drive me insane. I don't have time for doing that all the time, which means you'd have to either type it in or remember it, which, Anyway, so I've certainly got better programs that I can be working with, but it's one of those things I probably go and play with every now and then just to see how I can do it. Okay, so that's really interesting that we have 3 people showing as signed in and only you. Oh, there's Kerry. All right, so let me see who's there and who isn't. Oh, myself, of course, duh. Yeah, I don't think about me, do I? Story of my life. Yeah, I'm the third. So, Jodi, what I wanted to check with you, I know that this will be difficult for you as a subject. And so I just wanted to make sure that you understand that you're not the only one. This is not directed at you because you're not the only one that has this issue. Yes, Kerry, lay off the milkshakes indeed, right? I was just saying that in the time in between going off the broadcast and coming back here, instead of doing the things I was meant to do, I was playing with that program that Sophie was talking about. Okay, so you're ready. So Jody, but just understand you don't have to participate, but I'd love it if you could. In fact, I should actually work through this sheet with you so that you can well, the subject today is a subject that I wanted to do because I know Jody's struggling with some stuff. And so what I wanted to do was to do some work around why she's struggling so much and also hit her with a 2x4. Ah, Sharon, that's so funny. For those of you watching this on the rebroadcast, Sharon was talking on the earlier broadcast about going out with some on a girls' night, and now she says potential severe weather with tornado. Yeah, that would be a maybe. I totally understand. That makes it make a lot more sense to me. That's for sure, Sharon. Well done. Thank you for letting us know that. Do you need to prep yourself, Kerry? No, because you don't have to go into the depth that we may go into. You know, you can choose to just be on the surface of this, or you can do the work along with Jody and anybody else that cares to do it. Um, it's about really what I'm going to be talking about today is, you know, just how we get into this and what we miss out on because we do that. And obviously, I'll give some examples from my life, just so that you can know you're not the only ones. It's quite important, I believe. So, um, I'm just going to wait a little while until we get some of the others in. I would prefer to just leave it. So, do you have any updates in the meantime that I should know about? Yes, we're all in this together. That's right. And, you know, Jody, as you know, it's amazing how helpful it is for the next person when somebody, um, you know, is aware of what's going on with one of the others and they can sort of relate to it. So this is really, to me, it's a really important subject. Hi, Beth. Good to see you, honey. And, you know, it really segues on really well from what we were doing hi, Nana, what we were doing at lunchtime. Okay, Kerry, thanks for letting me know. And I will update everybody. Nana, just so that you know, in fact, I'll talk about this when and I'll do the news. That's easier. Yes, I heard just in the seconds that I went that they did strike Syria. You did a chalk painted nightstand. Is that so you can write notes on it? I bet you it looks pretty though. Yeah, thanks for letting us know though. Do we know what time they did it? So what color chalk did you do it? Because there's so many beautiful chalk type colors now these days. You know, the pinks and the turquoises and yeah, send pictures. Yeah, you know I love pictures. And let me know if I can share them because it makes it so much more fun for people when they can see what other people are up to. Live chalk painting. Yeah. Um anyway, so Okay. So, Beth, major depression day. Are you, do you mean clinically or just that it was a very depressing day for you? I say that because major depression is a clinical situation rather than, I was really down today. Been a depressing day. Okay. And so when we do this exercise, Beth, maybe it will help you a little bit. All right. So first of all, big hug from us all. And do you know what triggered it for you? What created it? Or are you unaware? And I just want to say for those people who are listening to this on the rebroadcast, you woke up like it. Do any of you relate to that? That you actually, we were talking at lunchtime about the first things you think about are, probably the things that will frame your day. So you woke up crying for no reason. You actually had a reason for crying, Beth. I need you to know that. You didn't wake up crying for no reason. You woke up crying for a reason. And it probably was that your brain was processing stuff overnight. And it brought up some sad memories for you. So can you remember any of your dreams? And if you'd rather that I didn't talk to you about it, I'm happy to just move on. So just make sure that, yes, you see, you had a good reason for crying this morning, didn't you? By the way, let me know if I can talk about that because I don't want to discuss that because of the rebroadcast without your permission. It's okay for the people in the room to see it, but it's like I don't want to put that out publicly without your permission. We had a number of situations on the lunchtime broadcast where, I was just checking in with people because it's important. It's important for you to understand that, I get, as soon as I get off the air, I actually try and shut down the reviewing with the chat. I cut that off, but it can take me a few minutes. All right. So again, let me know if I can talk about this. Okay, Kerry, again, let me know if I can talk to that. Because I don't want to be talking about those sort of level things unless I've got your permission. I can talk about it generally in a minute, but I don't want to put your names attached to it. Okay, so the one viewer was saying that she had a nightmare about her mother. Um, and the memory, is your mum still alive or did she succeed? Just so I know. Because you put that in the past tense. She was always, not is. Okay. So, all right. So you're still grieving part of that. All right. So the way that I talk about it, Beth, and please don't think I'm encouraging everybody to have split personalities or anything, but the way that it makes sense to me is that I imagine that I've got this librarian in my head. I call mine Jones. And at night, Jones's job is to run around and see whether things are ready to be filed or not. Does that make sense? And so what happens is during the night, he'll pick up a little bit of something that you did during the day and he'll go, can I throw this away? Or do you need to keep it? And that's literally what sleep is about. It's about sorting out all those little things that happen to us during the day and getting them filed away into the filing cabinets in our brains. But Jones needs to know, is this important? Do I need to keep it in the front filing cabinets or can I stick it in the back room? I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but that's how I talk about it. So, Kerry, I'm going to come back to you in a second, all right? So here's the thing. So you've got all this stuff that Jones is still trying to sort through that are related to your mum and all that the pain and suffering you went through. And you're saying that she taught you to hold on to stuff. Yeah, and I grew up like that as well. Don't discuss your stuff with anybody, right? This is nothing to do with anybody else. It's just for, and quite honestly, I don't think they did us any favors. I don't know about you, because I found out that when I can talk about stuff, I realize I'm not the only one that has these issues. All right, I'm not the only one that struggles with it, or I'm not the only one that has this going on. Now, Kerry, she's busy saying that she woke up with an anxiety attack. And that's because while she slept, Jones wasn't able to get everything filed away. She's got more going on in her mind than she realizes. I hope that makes some sort of sense. So what happens is that when she goes to sleep, Jones is busy trying to sort everything out, but he doesn't have enough time. And so what happened, Kerry sort of catches him not having done all the work, and he gets a bit panicky. And I think that's what creates it, Kerry, if that makes sense. The panic is about Jones going, wait, you can't wake up yet. I got stuff I still have to do. And that means that your mind isn't settled. So that's the way that I like to describe it to people. Yes, you were taught to hold things in as well, right? And so it's a really important. And Kerry, you've had a lot of things going on. You've had change in relationship, change in job. You've got a new job that requires that you do an awful lot of work and now walking and things like that. And now you've also got injury from it. By the way, do you get workman's compensation coverage? I don't know what that's called in the States. Yeah, Jones can be a pain, all right? And he thinks you are too. Yeah, it's amazing how we would talk to hold things in when really it's far healthier. You got to look at it. It's far healthier to have a little tantrum and get that anger out of your system instead of holding it in. And that's how we get sick, I think. Yeah. So, Beth, let me just read your comment here. Okay, so she would rip up paper out of the magazines and throw them on the floor. Just literally just tear them out in anger. How sad. So, wow. Wow. And she probably had no idea how she was terrifying you. The way, Beth, if you can, I'd like to think that your mommy did the best she could. Do you know what I mean? She was not a well lady by the sound of it. And that, she really did do the best she could. If she'd known any better, if she was capable of looking after you better, I guess she would have done. And, I think of some of the things that my mom did, and quite honestly, yeah, my mom had problems too, different ones, but she had problems. So, I think the greatest thing is not to live your life there. live your life here. And that's what we're going to talk about today, Beth. So hang on. Before I get on to that subject, and thanks for that input, Sharon. So practice it, go get sketches, go walk, tennis shoes. Good, that's nice. All right. So first of all, thoughts and prayers. So Kerry, you're saying that Erin's not doing so well? And she's going to be updating me. So I will let her know. I mean, I will let everybody know what she allows me to share. All right. Yes, Kerry, we're going to get into that. So the other one is Lauren. For those of you who know Lauren, she's still in hospital, but her attitude is great. And she's really, we're actually quite amused because what we've noticed is that she has been getting some really nice meals, ones that we wish we had. Because what I said to her was, keep track of what they're feeding you, because what do we know about what we know about hospital food is that they're inclined to make sure everybody has a certain amount of calories, right? Like be it 2,000 or whatever. And I said, if you take pictures of those meals, we're going to know what we can eat. And she has twice this week had battered fish on chips, like, hello, would we like that? Fish and chips? Haven't had that for a long time. So, and it wasn't one piece of fish either. It was like two pieces, not big pieces, but two pieces of fish and chips. So think about that. It's not that we can't eat it. It's just the size, the amount that we eat. Now, Jodi's been having a tough time of it, both physically and that has caused emotionally. And that's why I am going to be doing this subject today, is in the hope that I can help Jodi a little bit. So good for you, Jodi, for letting us deal with this. Just birthdays and anniversaries coming up. First of all, Ozzy Becker and Robin both have birthdays on the 18th. I forgot to mention that at lunchtime, that Robin is the other one on the 18th. On the 27th, Nana and Rick's anniversary, as far as I know. And on the 29th, our Lizzie has a birthday. And by the way, Sophie came into the broadcast at lunchtime, so that was great fun. Just in terms of the news, I really wanted to make sure you all, was anybody? Yeah, there are a couple of people that went here at lunchtime. All right. So thank you all for your support last week. I got a lot done in the trailer, thanks to you guys. And I think I am just nearly about as ready as I'm going to be. So I'm very happy about that. I also, I'm just about packed now, ready to go tomorrow. The other thing is that you understand I will be away, and I found out that my host and hostess tomorrow have to go out to a family function. And I thought it actually might be easier for me to do the extra broadcast tomorrow rather than Sunday. So if that's all right with you, I will put up the usual notice and let you know. It would be at the same time. No, I lie. I would probably do it tomorrow evening, about 7ish, rather than the afternoon. So, because they don't leave to go where they have to go until about 6, I think. All right, just so that you know that. And I will put up, it wouldn't be a structured one. It would be more a chit chat sort of one, because I won't have time to prepare because I'm going away. All right. The other thing is, so just watch out for Facebook and Twitter and, your feed, wherever it comes through and tells you I'm about to do a broadcast. I will put up as much warning as I can as soon as I've got that decision made. So you understand it could be Saturday. It probably will be Saturday rather than Sunday. We're also beta testing, we're doing some trial testing on helping people process. And what I did, hi, Lizzie, we're just talking about you. You got a birthday this month. 29th, I think. Tell her not to worry, Kerry. If she gets here, good. And if she doesn't, just email me and I will update everybody the next time. Yeah, the 29th. Are you going to be very old, Lizzie? We miss you. All right, so here's what we've been beta testing. I've been trying to see if I can help a couple of you work through any problems. And what I've done is I used both Jodi and Kerry as guinea pigs. And basically what I'm doing is being the problem solver so that so they send me what's going on and I start asking them questions. But the nice thing about it is you're not getting a whole stack of questions in a very short space of time. I ask the question, you choose when to answer it. Now, if I haven't had an answer in 48 hours, I'm probably going to re-ask the question. And so if any of you want to know how that's been working, Jodi and Kerry have both been doing that. Now, I know it gets a little difficult at times, but I'm also hoping that the work we're going to do tonight will also help you. But just to let you know that those of you who are on the mailing list, I will be offering you a free problem-solving stuff thing, so that you can take anything you like and either use it for yourself or use it for somebody else, whatever you want. So, yeah, Jodi, I know that some of it's difficult. And, bless her heart, Jodi is typically Jodi, and she can't understand why she keeps rattling off about certain things. You see, that's the whole point, Jodi. Don't apologize for the fact that you wrote back a whole lot. That's exactly what it's meant to do. It's meant to trigger that for you. That's why I ask the questions the way that I do. Beth, you may be on the mailing list. If you write to me, and Jodi will put up the link. If you write to me and put yes to the list in the subject matter. All right. I actually need you to send me that email. International law says that you have to physically tell me that you want to be on the list. And that's why I'm busy trying to get to everybody and asking them. I'll tell you that in a second. There you go, Erin. How are you doing? I hear you've been having a rough time. Well, we've been talking about this mailing list for 2 weeks, Nana. So this is the marketing list. But what will happen is the people on that list will get special things that'll be just for the people on the list. It doesn't matter, Kerry. There's no right way to do it. If it's helping you, then it's working. And if it isn't helping you, then you may want to give it a bit more thought. Yeah. I've called it the marketing list merely because that's, Lizzie, just do me a favor, Lizzie, send me another email so I can check it. Or maybe Jodi can just make a note. No, it's not just for the store. I'm going to be doing all sorts of things with that group of people. My problem is that there is a new law, Nana, that has happened in Europe. And it's an international law that they've put through because of all the security and everything else, which is people have to say that they want to be on your mailing list. And I've got a lot of you on a list because you've written to me. So I'm going through the list and writing to people. If you haven't got the email yet, it's because I haven't got that far down the list yet. But I'm going through my list and writing an email to everybody and checking whether they are okay to be on the list. Now, the people who say yes, I'll be able to send you emails about what's going on. The others will merely stay in my private list and they won't be included in the mass emails when I let people know about updates and things. Does that make sense? Beth, that's a really good thing. Did you say yes to the list? All right. The other thing I wanted to tell you about is that how many of you have got a project, and we were talking about this at lunchtime, that you would like some help with? So will everyone email? Yes, everybody who emails me with yes to the list will be on that list. Yeah. If you don't answer, then I won't. I will probably remind you a couple of times, but otherwise, no. You won't be advised of what's the updates are. All right, Erin saying, it's definitely been an interesting day in the doctor's appointment day. Yes, tell me about it, Erin, and as usual, let me know what I can share. Liz has started a creative project. Okay, Liz, what are you up to? Oh, Kerry, well done. I don't care if it's a little silly. It's creative. Kerry, well done. She started cleaning out her car. That's something I definitely should have done before this trip, but I didn't. So I'm hoping the people I'm going to visit are not going to want to go in my car anyway. um, you know what I mean? So what we were talking about at lunchtime is this Power Hour series. So I've got a couple of people now who have got little things that they want to have help with. And what we're doing is saying, send me a before picture, and then we'll send me the after picture when you've finished it. And just do something little every day, and then see how far it will go. Oh, I see what Nana's saying. Sorry. Thank you, Jody, for that. The emails on the list will be individually sent. It won't be everybody's email. Nobody else will see the email. No. The program that I have will send each email individually. Very good question, Nana. Thank you. You're always looking out for everybody's security. And I was just saying that at lunchtime today, I've just spent, I think it's $250 to update the website and to make sure that we've got a lot of security on that as well. Yes, you have to physically tell me that you would yes to the list, because that's what the international law says. If I can't prove that you said yes, then I can be in for a lot of money. Oh, there you go, Jody. You are such a clever girl. Thank you. What will we do without her? I don't want to know. Oh, so Lizzie, you're having fun doing it, though. One of the things I keep trying to explain to people is that these little craft projects that you do is not about how good you are. It's about, are you enjoying the reason why you wanted to do it? So are you getting some sort of affirmation that, an achievement out of it? It's not about perfection. Excellent is good enough. You know that. So to me, it's like, what a lovely idea. For those of you who are on the replay, she's making little bandanas for dogs. So tons of fun. That is the reason to be doing it. Lizzie, it's like doing these, right? This is not about impressing anybody. This is because it gives me great pleasure. Makes sense. If I never, right? I just literally, I do it for my own pleasure. So what is this diamond thing, Kerry, that you were talking about? I didn't quite understand that. And I'm certain that you know what it is, but I didn't know what it was. So I didn't want to. Okay. Yeah. So I think the way that you get really good, Liz, is that you keep doing it. What is the DD? Or is that adorable Dora? I don't know. Somebody was talking about a diamond something at lunchtime, and I know I saw it, but I never got to talk about it because I was busy on a roll in some other direction. All right, so here we go. It is now 7:32, Jody. So what we're doing is we're going to talk a little bit about playing the cards you're dealt as opposed to the ones that you wish you'd been dealt. Do any of you relate to that problem? That's a great idea, Lizzie. Yeah. Take a course. And you get to meet new people and they'll give you great ideas. Oh, seriously, Nana. That'd be awesome. Hi, Organic Kettle. Organic Kettle Chip Addict. That is quite a word. All right. So yes, Nana, I think you are inclined to play the hand that you've got, right? So, but not everybody does. So here we go. And what I'm doing is if you find that you awfulize things a lot, if you catastrophize things a lot, if you get into that thing. Oh, is that right? Organic Kettle Chip Addict. Do you have a name? Or do I just call you organic? Your choice. Yes, how many of you remember those days driving to work? Makes me want those chips as well, Liz. I must admit, I'm a big fan of kettle chips. So here is the thing that so many of us get caught up, and that's this whole thing about not playing the cards you got dealt. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't dream for better things or whatever, but it's when you start living your own disaster area rather than the truth of what's going on that you end up overwhelming and really getting into trouble. So Jodi has offered to be our guinea pig on this one, and Jodi's got some really serious stuff that she's worried about. So, what I thought, Jodi, is you get to choose. Oh, you're also a Liz. Okay, Mexican Liz. All right. So, Jodi, you get to choose any one of the many things that you're worried about. How's that? And then we'll work through that and make sure we've got you in the cards you're dealt rather than the ones that you wish you were dealt. Yes, Nana, as I said, I've already acknowledged that. You do a great job of that. Yeah. But we're trying to help the people that don't do that well yet. And maybe they don't have your faith or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. They haven't had the learning, they've got bigger problems than yours. I don't know what it is, but we're just trying to make sure that everybody knows the process so that we can help one another, because you've probably got friends that are doing that. Okay, so this is the issue that Jodi has is it that if anything happened to Lionel, you'd end up in a nursing home? Did I understand this correctly? I want to make sure that I get it right before I deal with it. Okay, but anything happening to Lionel is a huge, huge thing for you, right? And the rest are all sub worries of that one. So, but we'll deal with the nursing home issue, all right? Yes, Erin, I think you were taught well on that. All right, Kerry, we'll do you next, all right? So, Jodi, so here are the questions. Let us presume that you are in that situation. What choices do you have? Are you able to look after yourself? And just bear with us, people, because we're obviously going to have to wait for people to type back to us. Not at all, exactly. So therefore, could you bring somebody in to look after you? Maybe somebody that is retired, that needs somewhere to live. Could you bring somebody else in to help look after you? Or so what I'm trying to work out is, are there any other possibilities? Yes, that is a possibility. Could you, like Erin, go to a group home rather than a nursing home? Where it's smaller. Erin, Erin, how many people were in your group home before you ended up in hospital situation? Jody, if I said it's like a halfway house? Assisted living. Thank you, Beth. Yes, assisted living. In other words, but it was a smaller group. It's not. It's like you're not in full care. You're in a house with other people that need care, and then there are one or two people whose job it is. It's like a little mini ward. Yes, it's not a medical facility. It is like they have people that can look after your basic needs, um, but it's just a smaller environment. So, Jody, do you understand the all or nothing thing? Because other than the fact that you would be grieving, you'd be heartbroken, that you'd have difficulty dealing with everything, but that's when you need to call on your church to get the support. I would start really getting very into the church stuff right now so that they will be able to just take over in that event. I would actually talk to a couple of your church members and say, I'm getting really concerned about this. It's not that I want it to happen. I just want to make sure I've got a plan. All right. So Erin's saying that her group place, there were 6 of them being looked after. Does that sound something that would be something you would consider while you are still able to function to some degree? Obviously, if you are totally in need of hospital care, that doesn't happen, but we're talking about in between. So you don't have family that could help you, I think. Yeah, you would consider that, all right? So the point that we need is to make sure that you've got options. But let's say, Jody, that your only option was to go to hospital or, whatever it's called. Um, uh, yeah, it's just like being at home, Jody. you know, the only thing is they've got some basic nursing skills that they can help you with the basic stuff that you need. And if you need anything more important than that, they do what they did to Erin, which is they ship her off to hospital, and as soon as she's well enough, she comes back again. Jody is not in hospital, Nana. If you listen to the setup to this, her fear is that something will happen to her husband and she will be forced to go into care. All right. At the moment, Lionel looks after her wonderfully well. Yes, Beth, and you can leave anytime you want to if you want to. So, for example, Erin was in this place and they took you out on trips and all sorts of things, right? It's like a home, but with some help. It's the ultimate, really. Um, but what Erin found was she ended up doing a lot more because they had day trips and they helped her go and they when she wanted to go and meet up with people, they made a special plan so that they could take her. And it was amazing. It was a really important thing for her. But the point that I want to get to here, Jodi, and it's a really important point, okay? You remember what we said at lunchtime, that Tony Robbins quote, if you keep doing what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten, sort of thing, right? Well, yeah, but why would you petrify yourself with that? No, it's okay, Nana. I'm just making sure you understand that I never said she was in hospital. That was you did that somehow or other. Erin is sitting, Lauren is in hospital and Erin is sitting in, are you actually in hospital or a care facility, Erin? Yes, Beth, and that is the whole thing, that I think that would be very healthy for Jodi, right? To be amongst people that she can cheer up and, help, because she's very good at that. So, Jodi, here is what I wanted to make sure you understand. Okay? And just bear with me with these questions. Yeah, she's very selective about the friends she makes, I fear. Yes, I know. And that's why I'm going to ask you these questions. Are you ready for this, Jodi? Because the questions are not easy. So just tell me if I can go ahead. And if I can't, tell me that too. All right, here's the first question. What things do you wish you had? And, what things do you wish you could change? Let me put it that way. And for those of you playing along with this, I'm going to do the same thing with Kerry. So, Kerry, get ready with these answers because I'm going to be talking you through this as well. All right. So, Jodi would like the ability to walk and to care for herself. Jodi, in reality, what are the chances of either of those things happening? Yes, you are capable to do some, but in terms of where your mind goes, you want to be able-bodied, right? It's not going to happen. So my next question, Jodi, take a deep breath. How much time do you spend wishing that? And I know it's happened more recently, too much daily. All right. So you can see that, right? You're spending too much time on the catastrophe rather than living what you have. And I'm going to be helping you with that in a second. All right. So for all this worrying that you've been doing about it, Jodi, and upsetting yourself, how much has changed? Are you able to walk better? Are you able to care for yourself better? Not at all. All right. Um, Jodi she's suffering from something called lymphoderma, Nana, just so I can try and describe this for you. She had cancer and the radiation and whatever destroyed certain parts of her, I would imagine, lymphatic system. And now she has blown up like an elephant. All right. And in other words, you know how you get edema, you get water retention? Jodi's water retention hi Becca, Jodi's water retention has moved all the way from her ankles and legs all the way up to her body. She also has fibromyalgia and 2 types of arthritis. So generally, yeah, she's in a difficult way, and she does a great job of keeping me going, so I'm very grateful. So you understand, and it's getting worse for her. And so that's why she's having these thoughts. Very limited indeed, Nana, yeah. Okay, so now then, if you know that for all this worrying about it, you haven't been able to change anything, what do you need to change? Okay? If all the worrying in the world hasn't changed it, yes, you might want to have another look at your thinking. And I'm going to be helping you with that. What I have found out, it's a bit like the downsizing, Jody. It's not anything that I wanted to do. I didn't want to see that reality. I didn't want to see that I was a hoarder in training. I didn't want to do any of that stuff, but it was time to look at reality, right? And what I have to tell you is that yes, the serenity prayer helped me change the things I can and accept the things that I can't change. It basically is what the serenity prayer says. That's a good quote to put in there. Thanks, Nana. So, what I'm saying to you here, Jody, is you are wasting an awful lot of your life worrying about something you cannot change. Yeah, it is what it is. And unless they come up with some magic pill in the next little while, it's not going to get any easier for you. It's going to get worse. You are spending way too much time comparing the past, all right, and then worrying about the future. You're not spending time in the present. You see, here's what I'd like to recommend. At the moment, you have some use of your legs. At the moment, you have some ability to enjoy going out with Lionel. At the moment, you have some ability to laugh. You have some ability to play games. You have some ability, all right? So all these sort of things, Jody, I want you to start that list. I don't want you to work on what you haven't got. I want you to work a list of what have I got that I can use. You see, if you knew you only had 6 more months with Lionel, I've got a feeling you wouldn't want to be spending it being miserable. All right. I think you'd be saying, I never went to a dollar store, and Lionel, we're going to go. Because it would give him something to do as well. It would get him out of the house. And, so the next time we go for pain management, which is when you get the car, all right, we're going to take a little dipsy doodle on the way home, and we are going to a dollar store because I've never been to one. I also have never been to Baskin Robbins, or, make a list of things, a little bucket list of small things that are not going to cost you a whole lot of money, but are going to be things you can look forward to after your pain management. Makes sense. Or, you haven't had Thai food in a month of Sundays, so the next time we're going to go to the dollar store and then go and have Thai meal somewhere. Start looking at the positives, Jody, not the negatives. How can you have fun with Lionel while you still can? And while he's still around? Well, you're in depression because you're spending too much time thinking about the wrong things, all right? You're not thinking, and that's what depression is about. Yeah, hi, Sarah. Good to see you here. Sarah's saying one thing that I've wanted to try is one fun thing each day, right? Even if that fun thing is a chocolate bar. It's like me with my Mars bars. Well, you hope that you never lose any of us, Becca, but the reality is that we could, right? We could all lose the people close to us. It's like I would not want to lose Yvonne in my life, but is there a possibility that it could happen? Yes. So we love you too, Becca, and you've been around for a long time. And by the way, I was just saying that it's Aussie Becca's birthday coming up this week. So I've got a feeling, Becca, that you will probably remember her because we had to call her Aussie Becca when you came on board. Up until that time, she was just Becca. But when you came on board, we had to call her Aussie Becca so that we didn't get the two messed up. So, do you understand what I'm getting at, Jodi? Start living today with what you have, with the cards you have got. And you've still got some good cards. You've still got a sense of humor. You've still got the ability to do certain things, not as well as you used to, but that's not the point. You still have the ability to do certain things. You still have the ability to laugh. You still have the ability to talk. You still have, I'd be looking at all these things that you can still do and not look at perfection, but look at with what I've got, what can I do? Is this making any sense for you, Jodi? If she, yeah. So, Jodi, I know that you've been doing a lot to help us on Dear Mama Sal, and I'm very appreciative. But if you need to stop doing that so you can spend more time doing the things for you, I would recommend that you do that. Stop worrying about me, start worrying about you. But if, on the other hand, what you're doing on Dear Mama Sal is helping you fill your days with fun things and feeling like you're achieving something, then you go right ahead. You see? How many of you can see those eyes going with that one? Are you kidding me? So, you see, because I don't need you to be any different than you are, right? I need you just to do the best you can. That's enough for me. And you're doing a great job. So here we go. It's my job in life, right? So, what are your possible choices? We're going to work on this list a bit here for you. And I'm going to send you a copy of this probably when I get back and maybe the week after that. And when you remind me that I haven't sent it to you, that would be a good thing. So, what are your possible choices that you could do this coming week that would change what you've been doing? Something's got to change, and it's you. It's not me. I can't change it. You got to get off your fat ass and do something different. Because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to carry. I don't want that for you. And Beth, do you understand that? Like, if we keep accepting where we're at and don't move forward, we're not going to move into happiness. We're going to stay stuck. Yes, Jodi, if that's the only thing you did this week, that would be a really good thing. Go back to making your gratitude list. Good. Do you have anything else that comes to mind? Yes, find one fun thing every day. All right, what fun thing? Whether it's send Lionel out to go and get you a really nice coffee, or you know, um, teach the little fluffy snowball fluff ball a new trick. Yes, Nana, you get flashbacks to Rick being sick. I totally understand that. And that's quite normal. You're still in that grieving stage. You will get flashbacks for probably a long time. All right. So, Jodi, when you've got your list, try and get about 4 or 5 things on a list of things you could do. All right. Do you think you could do that? Your artwork, right? Or cross stitch or whatever. Do something other than sit and worry yourself sick. By the way, if you're inclined to do cross stitch and think yourself into a frenzy, don't do cross stitch. Do something that takes more of your mind. That would be my recommendation. All right, so let's start with the first step. What's the first step you want to take? It's Tuesday, isn't it? Yes, Beth, you need to find a hobby. Good idea. Good idea. You remember, guys, when I thought I had cancer? What did I do? Did I sit worrying myself sick about cancer? You remember I had to wait 3 months to find out whether it was true. So what did I do during those 3 months? I need you to remember, because you all watched what I did. And I didn't sit there worrying myself sick if I was going to die. I learned how to do something new. Right? And I painted morning, noon, and night because it totally absorbed my brain. And I wasn't sitting there thinking about dying. I was sitting there thinking about creating. And I was creating cells, and I wanted good cells. Makes sense? Yes, exactly, Nana, right? So you look at it and go, we do have some control. So Jodi on Tuesdays is going to make that her creative day. Beth, what hobby would you choose if you had the ability to learn something new? What would you like to learn? Maybe we've got people here with skill sets around what it is you'd like to learn as a hobby. Or what would you like to go back to? The sewing machine. Now, like Liz, is Liz still here? I can't see that. Hang on, let me have a look at the participant list. I hate it that I can't see the participant list. No, she's not here anymore. Okay, so Liz is busy doing stuff. Right. The other Liz would like to learn a new language. What language would you like to learn, Liz? Mexican, Liz? You see, what you're looking for is something that will occupy your mind, other than you cannot think a lot of bad thoughts if you're not giving it a lot of time. If you're not giving it a lot of space. And when you look at your day, how much time are you spending doing positive things or negative things? There's our Liz, right? So you want to learn Arabic. There we go. Not an easy language, but good for you. No problem, Nana. All right, Kerry wants to learn German and Tagalog. Wow, Jesus, that's a lot of work. But why not? And the thing is this, if I check in with you next week, will you have learned 2 words? If so, I believe you. If you haven't bothered to learn any words, that's not it. So take your first step. Yes, Nana's saying she wants to watch some of Frank Clark's painting videos. There is not a hobby, I think, in the world these days that isn't sitting on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like the old days. You don't even have to go to some class these days. You can literally turn up a video and stop it when you need to. Hang on, I didn't quite understand that. I mean, you are in the greatest society in the world right now in terms of that. All right. So be aware. Now, are any of you going, yes, but? And be quite honest about this. Are any of you going, yeah, but? All right, so Liz is saying she's already started watching sewing machine tutorials. Exactly. They are there. There are tutorials on everything these days. Sarah's saying hand knitting is fun to learn on YouTube, right? Crocheting. you know, Becca, wow, Becca, that is awesome. Becca's grieving and she allowed herself to cry. That is a major step forward, Becca. I am really proud of you because that's getting some of it out. You're not hiding it. You're allowing yourself to feel. That is a huge step forward. So Beth also wants to learn how to sew a baby blanket. So what I want you all to do, those of you who are working along with us here, is write down 2 or 3 steps you can take this week. You don't have to do them because this is your life. But if you want to feel better, you might want to think about it. Um, so you look at it and you go, that you see, that's the whole point we're saying. When I thought that I might have cancer, I sat down and said, if this is as good as it gets, what do I want to do? Beth started, yeah, she's going to start reading the sewing machine manual. There you go. They, they actually do make them for a reason. Jodi has all the supplies, but she also has all the excuses. So tell me what the excuses are, please, Jodi, because you will be speaking for a lot of people. Give me some of your classic excuses. When you think about, I'd like to paint today, what stops you? Yeah, Nana's going to start sewing again when she's got, situation where she's going to have great grandkids on the line any minute now. Shouldn't we love each day like that? Yes, I think so, Sarah, but it is difficult and you need support. Now look at Erin. Erin wants to learn how to speak Danish so she can talk to Alice. I'm pretty sure that's your reasoning. Am I right, Erin? I used to make all my own clothes. I'm not joking. In the days of pantsuits and whatever, I used to sew all my own clothes. All right. So listen to this one, Jodi. So Jodi's saying, hi, Sakura. Jodi is saying she stops herself because she thinks she'll fail at the watercolor technique. Who gives a? Jodi, you're not doing this to pass some test, some exam. Feel this 2x4 coming at you so hard, young lady. This is about you're doing this because you're learning something. All right, you're doing it. Why do I paint, Jodi? Do I paint so I can be some international artist? Yes, Erin, right? So I totally understand why you want to learn Danish. So even if it's a couple of words, it's a start, right? How did you learn English? A couple of words. And how do you get good at watercolor painting, Jodi? You don't do it by thinking, maybe I'll do it next week. I'm a bit scared of failing this week. Yes, look at that. Nana's going to send us some pictures of some girls. By the way, what we're doing is we're getting an album going, 2 albums that we're doing, all right? We're doing 1 album. If any of you've got anything, procrastination stuff, we've got people sending us some horror pictures of, what they want to sort out. And I promised I will not share them publicly unless they tell me to. But then they're going to send me another picture when it's sorted. They're going to eat that elephant one bite at a time, do a little bit here and a little bit there. And when they've got it clean, they're going to send it to me. So I don't care if you take a picture of, half of a wall unit shelf. All right. It's like, let's do something about this stuff. You're sitting there and feeling bad about it. How do you send the pictures? All right. Jodi will put up the link because she's got nothing else to do today. And she's going to send you my email address there. Just hold on and she'll give you the email address. But just send the picture. And then what I will do is I will open up a folder with your name on it, Sarah. All right. And it'll go in there. And then when you've done whatever it is, send me the one that you've done. And then I'll be able to ask you, do you want me to share this or not? Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate the help. So send me that. And by the way, if you're not on the mailing list and you want to be, send me the yes to the list at that address, right? So now, Jodi, let's have a little think. It'll be a huge folder. I don't care. If it helps you, Sarah, ask me if I care. I'm trying to do whatever I can to help you guys do what it is you want to do. You see, you do not feel better by carrying on doing what you've been doing. It just won't happen. You'll just keep depressing yourselves. So, Kerry, I'm coming back to you. So here's the thing. Jodi, quite honestly, think about this. Is your fear the loss of control, image, achievement, safety, money, love, respect, or fill in anything else that you want to? You have a fear of what's going to happen to you. Or is it all of the above? I heard you tell me the other day that you don't go out anymore because you don't like the way people judge you now that you've, blown up so much. Well, all due respect, let them think what they want, Jodi. Get out of the house. All right? It's not about them, it's about you. You're not going to go out of the house because you want to please other people. You're going out of the house because it's good for your mental health. Right? You need a change of environment. You've been stuck in that house through a very hard winter. All right? This is not about them. If you only have 6 months left, Jodi, enjoy it. I'm not saying that you have, but you understand my thinking. Yes, and Nana, that's very wise as well, right? Nana's saying what you actually don't like is your fear of what you think other people think of you. And quite honestly, that's your problem, not theirs. Yes, do this for you, Jodi, not for their benefit. Get out of the house. Go and visit a dollar store. Yes, and that's the point that I'm saying about play the cards you've got. Exactly, Erin. At the moment, Jodi, you have the ability to be able to go outside the house. All right. It takes a bit of organizing, and you got to get the wheelchair and the car and whatever. By the way, when did you last have Lionel walk you down the street? Because you've got a wheelchair that is motorized, right? So what if you took the fluff ball for a walk with Lionel? Oh, your wheelchair isn't motorized? I thought you said it was. So do you all understand that what stops you from moving forward is your judgment, as Nana says, your judgment of yourself? I don't want to do the watercolor painting because I might not do it right. So what? You got to make sure you know why you're doing the watercolor painting. You're doing it for your amusement, not for winning some competition. When I go into my studio, I'm not painting for somebody else. I'm painting for me. This, as you all know, this was an experiment, right? I was testing some new paints. How many of you are going, not a bad experiment, Sal? So the other thing, Jodi, let me tell you, that I've got a collection of artwork now that I'll be taking down on my trip. You know why? Because I've got art now. Right? So now it's like, okay, I've got presents I can give out to people without costing me any extra money. And I will let them choose the ones they like. We are our own worst critics, Sarah. You're so right. We need to get out of our own way. It's not easy, but if you want to get healthy, if you want to get out of depression, if you want to actually be happy, you have to change what you're doing. If you keep on doing what you've always done, you're going to keep on getting what you've always gotten. Right. So this is like, and remember what we were saying at lunchtime. For those of you who weren't there, you might want to go and listen to that rebroadcast, because what we were talking about was You know, if you don't plan your day, right, then you're planning to be miserable. Right. So you haven't got a car right now, but do you understand what I'm saying to you all, which is please do not concentrate on what you can't do. Say to yourself, do you know, Jody, do you have the ability? I just managed to hit the wrong screen there. Do you have the ability, with Lionel's help, to take a walk down the street? Not a walk, you know what I mean, a roll. Yes, Sarah, and that's what I want you to see. Do you know how you guys all know that I'm downsizing and it's heartbreaking for me. It's it's disgusting, it's dirty, in ways I don't want to think about. It's I keep thinking, why didn't I start this 5 years ago? All that stuff. That's not going to help me. My attitude is, what one thing can I move today? Yes, a 2x4 for us all. All right, so Nana's saying, I've done this so many times, I assume what I think of others is what they think of me. I think that's so cute, Nana. There's a great deal of honesty in that. Now, some of you know that I'm off this weekend to do a speech on Monday. Now, you all know I used to do that for a living. So do you think that this should be really easy for me? Right, it's what I used to do, and by the way, I'm donating my time for a good reason. But have any of you got any idea how I can do Jodi's thing on giving a speech? The audience is only going to be about 50 people. And yet, can you think, Jodi, of how much I can be beating up on myself like I'm really out of practice? I hope I don't screw it up. Da, 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 da. Right. So, Lizzie, what 3 things could you do? All right. I don't care how small they are. Just tell me 3 things that you could do. Send them to me. I'll keep a list, and next week I'll check on to see if you've done it. If you guys are not prepared to look after yourself, I'm going to look after you in my own little way. Thanks, Jodi. It's my pleasure. So here is the thing. The thing is that you cannot think your way out of this. You've got to do your way out of it. I cannot think my way out of downsizing unless I pick something up and throw it away or clean it and put it away or donate it. It's not going to leave the house. So that would be another thing, Jodi. I would start making a list of what do you need to do to get an electric wheelchair. But you see, let's do one thing at a time because you're already overwhelmed, Jodi. But that's on your wish list, right? So that's on your list of when I've got out and done a couple of things, all right, then this is what I'm going to do next. Now, yes, Liz, absolutely. Please write to me, Liz. And what I'll do is I will put you on my beta listing. All right. And what I'm doing is trying to help people who don't necessarily want to talk about things in public, but actually do need some help right now. And I'm going to do the disclaimer again. You all know I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm none of those things. I'm just somebody who's been through a lot. And therefore, I understand this at a different level sometimes. But you all understand that you can choose this week to stay stuck. That's your right. And if you choose to stay stuck, be aware that it is your choice, right? You choose not to do anything to make you feel a little better, whether it's right to me. One of the things that I know Jody was saying to me this week, it actually helps when you need to write it rather than just think it. Because what you're doing is you're getting it out of your brain by writing it for some reason. It's like goals. I was saying at lunchtime, if you don't, if you don't plan to spend 5 minutes doing something, you'll never do it, quite honestly, or you'll rarely do it. But if you know it's going to come up every day, you quite often will do it before you even get to doing it. You know what I mean? It's just because you know, okay, fine, that's what I said I was going to do. I better do something. Yes. Now, Sakura is tackling. How many of you relate to this one? How many of you relate to the top of a kitchen cabinet? How yucky is that? And does she have to do it all this week? No, she can do above one cabinet each week. Yes, Sarah, and you're not alone. All right. Sarah's saying, I've chosen to do nothing for a whole week and then it becomes months. It just escalates. You just need to do something. And the other thing is, you deserve the reward of doing something. All right. I'm not saying do this to please me. I'm saying do this because you're going to feel better. You really are. You're going to feel better about yourself. You cannot feel better about yourself if you don't do anything to help yourself. All right. And that is what I'm trying to explain to you. It's if you take one step, like Becca was saying, that here she is grieving, but she allowed herself, she's done enough work of grieving now that she's allowed herself to cry. That is a major step forward. Erin, I am sure your frustration with what's been going on with you is horrific, but you are still able to keep looking forward, and I admire you so much for that. Now, Sakura, one of the other things, she's saying that I've been so terrified of it now doing it, and I kind of regret it because it's satisfying at the same time. I'm doing it slowly, but now we have too many glasses, right? And so we're downsizing on that as well. Yes, Erin, and you cry and scream and yell when nobody's looking all the time, and that's healthy. There's nothing wrong with that, Erin. Better you do that than keep it in. It's like I was saying to Becca, better she cries than feels the pain inside, because that's what makes you sick. It's when you allow yourself to cry that you are healthy. When you allow yourself to have a little hissy fit every now and then. And Jody, don't think that you can't do those things. I'm not asking you to be happy all the time. You are allowed to be frustrated. You are allowed to be sad. Those are all very real emotions. But are you doing something to balance that out? Right? And by the way, the fact that you can't do all that you used to do, 5 years ago, can I do all that I used to do 5 years ago? No. How many of you can understand? I could scare myself stupid about giving this speech on Monday. All right. I haven't given a speech in front of people for a long time. I mean, I've done in front of young people, but not in front of a bunch of, serious business people. I haven't done that in the longest time. So do you think I've got some fear that I will fail, Jody? Do you think I've got some fear that I won't do the right job? Or that they have put me on some sort of pedestal I won't be able to achieve. You know what I mean? Or can I go down there and just have some fun? Hi, Lauren. Yes, Sakura's saying she used to be able to carry heavy stuff, but not anymore, right? She's got some back issues, I think. The pain limits your vision. I'm pretty sure that that is true. And not only that, I think the medication changes your thinking as well. And that's why I really, by the way, how many of you are in awe that Jodi was even prepared to let me discuss this with her publicly? That takes courage. And I believe that she wants to get help with it because she's prepared to do the work on it. Do you understand that? As well as keep timetables going and goodness knows what else. So, Lauren, just so that everybody gets an opportunity to talk to you, can you update us on what your current situation is? I believe that one leg has got well enough that you can have your skin graft done, and the other one is still working on it. Am I correct on that? Yes, I think it's amazing that Jodi was prepared to let me work with her on this one. But Jodi, you deserve the help. You spent your life helping others. This doesn't mean you're a wuss or you're stupid or whatever. You have just spent a little bit too much time worrying about things you cannot change. All right. As Nana says, get the serenity prayer up in front of you and read it every morning and every night before you go to bed. All right. Get it in your day timer or whatever. Get it on that messy table that you keep next to you. Right? Take some picture out of a frame and frame it and put it on your side table and read it. God, grant me the serenity to change the things I can, right? And accept the things I can't. It's that you need to get that into your brain and repeat it every time you start this thinking. All right, so let me read out. Lauren, can I read this out for the people who are listening to this on the replay? Because some of them are your buds. I'm not going to read it out unless you give me permission, but I'm asking for permission to read it because it's important. Okay, so Lauren is saying that she has an infection on the leg that isn't ready for grafting yet. And he came in and ordered some blood work for Monday because the hemoglobin might be low again. And she also may have some sort of low-grade infection. So that's awesome. Jodi, that's why we're here. Remember, the whole reason I started DearMamaSal was so that when we went into these moments of negativity, when we went into these moments of awfulizing, look at the work you guys did to help me last week. Why should I get that sort of help? And you all encouraged me to get into the trailer and stop muttering and grunting and do something about it. And, why would we not do it for you, Jodi? You've been here supporting everybody for the longest time. So the good news, Lauren, and that I'm hearing is that they're going to do a double check to make sure, all right, what's happening to that hemoglobin, and that'll allow them to take the next step for you. I'm good to. I was talking about your fish and chips for twice in 1 week. Keep sending us the pictures, and by the way, keep an album of I was saying at lunchtime, I think today, that if I've got to be in hospital, I think I'd like it to be in Oz, because you really have had some great food. I don't think the Canadian diet looks quite as good as the Australian one. All right. So again, let me know if I can share that. Yeah, I think the fish and chips, it's like, all right, people that are here, when did you last have fish and chips? And her hospital has fed her that twice this week. Yes, so here's the thing, Lauren, just give me the okay to repeat that about the infection. Okay, share everything. All right, so Lauren's saying that the infection that she has from her leg, the one that's not healing as well as it should, came from the first hospital she was at. And in that first hospital, they think some of the dressings were not totally sterile, or the people's hands weren't totally sterile, or whatever. And she got, some sort of infection that they can't quite get a hold of yet. So, does this happen? Is getting angry about it going to change it? No. So you see, what I love about Lauren is Lauren, I've really noticed a difference in your mentality of late. And I wanted to give you kudos for that, because you have been coping with all sorts of stuff and you appear to be coping with it really well. I've been quite impressed. Now, I don't know what you're doing when you're not talking to me, but I've been really impressed with, what you have been doing. And, not only that, she has had some of the most incredible mishaps happen. You know, can I tell the story about your your physiotherapy thing? Well, that's what I was trying to tell you, Lauren, but you weren't listening to me. Which is why I had to eventually hit you with a very large 6x6 rather than a 2x4, because everything you were telling me was telling me you were way sicker than you thought. All right, so are you ready for this one? Now, for those of you who don't know, Lauren, you are I can't think of the word. I want to say numb from the waist down. Where does your what's the word I need? Paralyzed. So, Lauren, up to what point in your body do you have nerves that work? Yeah, that's what I said, Erin. If I have to go to hospital, I'm going to go down to Oz. Yeah. Two lots of roast. She's had, fish and chips. She's not eating rubber chicken every night, that's for sure. All right, and I need to just check where her not disability, but her paralysis starts, because it's important for what I want to tell you. And by the way, you are allowed to laugh at what I'm about to tell you, because it really was historically funny, if you can see it that way. All right, and Lauren and I have spoken about this. All right, she's paralyzed from the knees down. She is totally wheelchair bound and can't move her legs. All right, so you all got that picture, right? Now, somebody had written on her chart that she needs some physiotherapy to help her get more strength back in her upper body, because she's been sick. Do you all understand that? But whoever read the chart didn't read it properly. They just read she needs physio. So this physio person comes in to Erin, to Lauren, and says, okay, now we need to do some work on your legs, because we need to get you some strength back in there. Yeah, it was written wrong. Okay. Just correct me wherever you need to. But how many of you can see that Lauren's sitting there going, I'm paralyzed. You can do whatever you like to my legs. They're not going to get any stronger. So poor Lauren is trying to explain to this physio person that it isn't what was written on, it isn't what was meant to be written there. Regardless of what is written there, that wasn't what was meant to be written there. How many of you can imagine Lauren sitting there? Yeah, exactly, Sharon. And I know when she told me, I wrote back and said, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm crying with laughter, because I had the whole picture. How many of you can see that picture with Lauren going, excuse me, I'm paralyzed? You can do all the work you like, but that's not going to work. No, but the chart says I have to do that. Well, the chart's wrong. Now, I also said that, yeah, I know, I was crying with laughter when I just had this picture, because you know what Lauren's like, excuse me, hello. So you see, or could we concentrate on, all the negatives of that? You see, Lauren didn't. Lauren, hi there, Alejandra. Good to see you. So you see, Lauren actually totally understood that I burst out laughing. Apparently her doctor did as well. I mean, obviously it needs to be addressed and somebody's got to learn to write the right information. But in the moment, you can choose to be angry, or you can choose, excuse me when I cry with laughter, or you can choose to laugh, right? I would have loved to have seen the faces on that medical team as well. Can you imagine what they were saying? You'll never guess what happened today. And can you imagine the doctor having a little word with them? But you see, can she change what happened? No, right? It was what it was. She couldn't change that. So what Lauren decided to do was to be amused by it. And she shared it with me. And I want to tell you something. I had to get control. First of all, I needed forgiveness from her because I said, I don't know how to tell you this, but I burst out laughing. Yes, it speaks to Lauren's character that she had a laugh over it. All right. So I look at it. Yeah. It's going to be the new thing. How the leg exercise is going, Lauren. Yeah, I can. You see, I love that your mom would take that and run with it. And every time you see that physio person, just check. Has she come to work your legs again, or how are we going to do the upper body today? And and if she says, "Oh, I'm so sorry," go, "No, no, no. You have no idea how many people you have amused." And it wasn't your fault. What you read was incorrect. This wasn't your fault. I'm sure all the nurses are absolutely cracked up on this one. And you know how much they will love you all the more because you didn't take it negatively. You actually saw the humor in it. But they also will understand that that was a serious matter. All right. That whoever wrote that down, needs to spend more time concentrating on what they're writing. And I'm sure that's been done. Yeah, I have no doubt about that at all. So today's sort of broadcast is about, all right, playing the cards we got dealt with. All right. So Beth, now that you've heard Jodi's story, what can you do to help yourself this week? All right. That's what I want you to think about. I don't want you to concentrate on, oh gosh, if only I were feeling better, I'd be able to do X, Y, and Z. I want you to say, if this is as good as it gets, what can you do? All right. Jodi, Tuesday. If you are not painting on Tuesday, by the way, I will be traveling on Tuesday, so I probably won't have time to check in on you, and nor should I have to. If you don't get those darn paintbrushes out and make a mess, I'm not asking you to become a watercolorist, of some repute. I'm asking you to sit and throw wet colored water at paper. I did not start this to paint a really nice picture. I started this to test some paints out. Lauren, I agree with you. If you had been a lot more sick than you are, you probably would have been really angry about that. Yeah. I think we were more angry about it than you were. So take the wet water. Jodi, you like that, I know. All right, it's going to amuse you. If you haven't got wet water in front of you on Tuesday, make a fine mess, and we want the picture, don't we, people? We want to see, did you make a mess? And I don't want you to say, oh, I don't want to take a picture of it because, people may judge me. We don't care, Jodi. Show them that you did what you said you were going to do. Then we will believe you. Does that make sense to anybody? Beth? No judgment, of course not. How many of you will be applauding, regardless of what it looks like, that she did something to make her happy? You need to clean your house, okay? Lordy. All right, I want to tell you something. You show me that you've got, you threw wet water at paper with some color in it in the water. To me, that will be bouquets of congratulations from me, big time. How many of you know that there is I could have talked myself out of doing this trip because I had a problem with the car this week. How many of you know that? Hi, Andy. Yes, Sharon, all right? It's not about perfection. It's about I did something. I didn't sit and think, oh, if only I just went, let me do the best I can. And if the best you can, if the best you can is a total mess, we don't actually care. What we want to know is, have you got the ability to do something for yourself? The best is all that you can do, Sal. That's right. And the same thing with my speech. Let me ask you something. If I go down there and they don't like my speech, does it really matter? Seriously, does it really matter? It's just their judgment. Will I have done my best? Will I have gone with good intent? Will I have, taken the time to go and, travel quite a way and go and visit people? So we know I'm going to have stories to tell. You like that. And then on the way back, maybe I'll, stop in and see some. Actually, I'm going to leave the tulips until the second trip, I think. There will always be people in the crowd that don't like what I have to say. Always have been. I've always said, I don't watch those people, right? I don't. I concentrate on the ones that are enjoying me. I really do. I just like, I will work off those people that, just as sponges. Like I can't say enough for them. So, we can all talk ourselves out of having fun every day. I could talk myself out of painting every day. I'm holding up the painting again, right? And I have talked myself out of it for a week now because I was busy doing other things crafty wise. I was making cards and things ready for this trip. But it's like we make these decisions every day to either have some fun or not. So my question is, would you look again this year, right? If I want to concentrate on the fact that I'm obese, could I make myself really miserable? Yes. Be the person that makes somebody else feel better, which Jodi does, but that's not my issue with her, Sakura. She does that all the time. What I'm concerned about is that Jodi, we don't know how much Jodi's going to be able to do for how long, and I don't want to see her wasting that time worrying about what she can't do. I want her to spend that time worrying about what she can do and start planning some fun trips, some fun things to do while she still can. All right, that is it. I watched my mother get bedridden, and I'm sure that she beat up on herself for all the things she didn't do. I don't want Jodi to go, why didn't I go do this while I still could? That's what I'm concerned about. So go paint while you can still use your hands. Go make that trip when you have to get the car because you need to go to pain management. Make sure you fill other things in that day. Try, Jodi, do what you can do. Don't concentrate on what you can't. That's basically my message. So if we all play the cards, do you understand? I have fear about the trailer because I'm 70 now. All right. And my strength is different. My ability to do stuff is different. So I could talk myself totally out of taking the trailer out. Yeah, we've been talking about that, Sarah. Um, but do you understand how much I could miss out on if I do that? All right? I could totally miss out on a really fun week if I want to talk myself out of it. Well, I better not take it. It might break down. Maybe I'm too old to be able to cope with it. Da, 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 da. I could really do that number on myself. And a lot of you would say, well, that's probably quite a smart thing, Sal. Because what if you break down? What if you da da da? I'm going, I actually don't care anymore. I'm going to do the best I can. And if I end up having to park that trailer on the side of the road somewhere and come home without it, so be it. It's just like, you guys are going to love the experience, right? You're going to enjoy the adventure. Do you understand where my mind is? It's like I'm doing this because I still can, I think. And there's only one way to find out, and that's to do it. And when you all saw the state that my trailer was in, who knew that in 2 hours I could just about get it back to normal? Wasn't that amazing? So Jodi, we know you've got it in you because we know you pretty well. So you can carry on feeling sorry for yourself if that's what you want to do. And it's not who you are. It's definitely not the person I know. So you somewhere or another got sucked into this vortex. All right? And so what I want you to do is to show us that you have taken control. And the best way to show us that you've taken control is to show us wet water with color in it. And we don't care what it looks like. So, Kerry, has this helped you at all in your issue? And I am more than happy to work with you on Saturday. It's tomorrow, isn't it? And work through the same sort of thing. So do you understand that we all go through this? Whether it's Becca with her grieving, whether it's Jodi grieving her, the loss of her abilities, Becca grieving the loss of her beloved brother. We all go through these moments of getting stuck. It's part of who we are, right? It's not that you're useless or stupid or anything else. It's we get overwhelmed with the negative thoughts. We get overwhelmed with the sense of loss. We get overwhelmed with the emotion of it all. But together, we can hold each other's hands and help each other. And that is what I would wish for us all. All right? It is not about perfection. It's not about you're less than. It's about let's do the best we can. Don't get to the point where you think, oh gosh, I wish. Can you imagine if something happened to me next year or in the next month or 6 months where I physically could not get into my car and pull a trailer? Physically, something happened. I broke my back or something. Right? So to me, I'm going, how could I possibly talk to Erin if I didn't do the best I can with what I've got? Because I know Erin would love to be hitching up a trailer and coming with me. All right? So if I don't get in my trailer and go and do that, I'd be letting Erin down, in my view. Right? If I didn't do the best that I can, then how could I do that? I'm pretty sure that Lauren would love to be able to do that. All right. And so you understand where my mind is. I am so fortunate to have so much going for me. Let me use what I can. And that is my message for you today. Play the cards you've been dealt. I'm not saying Don't wish for a better outcome. You know, I'd be the first one, Jodi, if they gave you a magic pill tomorrow that cured your lymphedema, you know I'd be ecstatic and just thanking God all the way. But that is not going to make you happy. What's going to make you happier is doing what you can while you can. Well, Sarah, bless you for that. But here's the thing, Sarah. I just flapped my lips. What you guys do in your heads, what you guys do in your reality with what I say is the inspiration. Funny enough, you don't know this, but that is exactly what I'm talking about, Sarah, on Monday. They want me to talk about the fact that I am so inspirational. And, you know, I'm not really. I just flap my lips. And to me, it's like what you guys do with what I say is what's inspirational. I think you are the heroes, not me. I think Erin is a hero. I think Les is a hero. You know, I think Nana is a hero. I think you all are. I think I am too, right? In our own way. But that's what I'm good at, Sarah. You see, when I so nearly quit YouTube so many times, you know, and you know, it gets difficult, you know, because it's expensive for me to do it and so forth. But here's the one thing, I won't forgive myself if I stop, because what if I could help one person? All right. What if I stopped and Jodi, you know, wanted me that day, or you know, it's like, or Nana, you know, something happened to Rick, and you know, it's like, you know, it's like it's important that we are there for one another. That's why we started this. So, Sarah, I appreciate the fact that you find me inspirational, and there are days when I'm sure I am. There are also days when you've seen me struggle. And there was 6 months there when I struggled horrifically, more than you guys will probably know. When I, you know, wasn't functioning properly, my mind wasn't functioning properly. And it was horrible. But I also knew that I needed to carry on doing the best I could. And I was amazed how many people I still managed to inspire, as you say, when I was incapable of inspiring myself. So that's the whole thing. I didn't give up on the few things I could do. I could paint, and I could continue broadcasting because I could still talk. Does that make sense, anybody? Which story? I have so many, Sarah. I think we're all heroes, exactly. I really do. And I honestly have to say to you that DearMamaSal doing what we do wouldn't be here except for people like you, Sarah. If you didn't tune in, how could we help anybody? Yes, and some people, you know, are lucky enough to have faith and do stuff, you know, because of the strength of prayer and so forth. Remember what I said at lunchtime? Can I get that quote back again? Hang on one second, people, because it was an interesting quote that we had at lunchtime. You're not sure when the broadcasts are. Did you think to ask? Because, you know, there's this part of me that goes, if you asked, we could have told you. Wait. Hang on one second, just while I'm giving you a hard time here. I'm just trying to find a quote that I had at lunchtime. because it was good. All right, here we go. Prayer is a form of meditation, isn't it? It's like laws of attraction. Whatever you put out into the universe is what it receives. And it's kind of like putting your thoughts out into the universe. And it was said by Anthony Joshua, and I totally agreed with him. The interesting thing was, I had no idea who Anthony Joshua was. And it turns out that he is the unified world boxing champion. And I had no idea what that meant. So I checked it out. So do you understand that some of you are lucky enough to believe you have faith so that you can get your strength from God. But not everybody has that level of faith. Yes, Kerry, you can see a struggle, but it's not that we quit, right? All right, Sarah, here we go. We broadcast normally, and remember, I'm changing it this weekend because I've got commitments. Normally, where are you? Can you tell me, which country are you in, and which end or side of the country? You're in New York. Okay, that's all I need to know. All right, so I'm in Pacific time. That's 3 hours behind you. Okay, so we do noon my time on a Friday. That's 3 o'clock your time, I believe. And we do 7 o'clock my time, which would be 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock your time. So 2 broadcasts on a Friday. Sarah, are you signed? Do you follow me on Facebook? Because I put up notifications on Facebook and Twitter every day. I mean, every time I do a broadcast. The other broadcast I do, have you got your pen there, Sarah, or am I just talking for the fun of it here? Good girl. I'm proud of you. You need to follow, because then I would be sending you warnings saying you've got 35 minutes until my next broadcast, because that's what I do. Here's the third one. The third one is normally Sunday at 3:30 until 5. All right, my time will be 6:30 until 8, I think, your time. However, this weekend, because I'm the guest of people, I'm going to probably do the broadcast tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock my time, which will be 10 o'clock yours. But I will put up a notice on Facebook and Twitter. Got it? And we're delighted to have you on board, Sarah. As you can see, none of us is perfect. None of us has it all right. And for those of you who don't know, when we finish the broadcast, which is any second now, I am going to go and get rid of the chat on the replay. I just want to warn you, it does take me about 5 minutes to technically get that done. Are you all aware of that? So about 5 minutes, there will be that crossover. So if you go to check it immediately, I won't have had time to disconnect the chat. But if you go about 15 minutes after we finish the broadcast, you're going to see something that comes up that says the chat is no longer available. Good night, Nana. Good to see you. So that's what I will do, right? That's what we do. I go in there and I make a couple of adjustments. And one of the things, I turn off the chat. So I want to thank you all for being here. I particularly want to thank Jodi, obviously. That was very vulnerable stuff to be doing, Jodi. And you've got a lot on your plate already, and you still look after me and help me as my admin during the broadcast. But you're also prepared to put yourself out there. And I don't know about the rest of you, but that takes a lot of courage. And I'm very, very proud of you. And hopefully it has helped you a little. Because sometimes, facing that monster absolutely in the face, is what you need, right? You need to just look at it and go, yeah, that's true. This is not helping me one bit. Yeah, Kerry, you're not as strong as you seem. All right, so none of us is. None of us is, Kerry. I think, that is the reality of it. So what I'm going to do, remind me, please, in May. Remind me to get this out to the people on the mailing list. I want to just adjust it and get some personal things off it, which won't take me very long, but I need to scan it and do stuff. And then what I do is I will make this form available. And it basically is a route map. And it says, you know, if you say yes here, keep moving on. If you say no, start asking these questions. Mailing list. Hi, Colette. Yes, Colette. Jodi will put it up for you because she's very good at that. This is, I have what I call a VIP master list of people. And so it's the people that really want to do the work, the people that really want to be kept informed about what's going on in everybody, not the occasional viewers that, you know, don't really care about anything. I'm talking about the people that, you know, are what I call the people that care about what they're doing. Plus, what I'll be doing is updating you on new things. I will be giving special discounts to people on that list, all that sort of stuff. Okay. So what we need you to do, though, because it's by international law, you need to be able to send me an email and say yes to the list. All right. Like yes to the dress, say yes to the list. And Jodi's just finding it for you. There you go. You see what a great job she does. Thank you, Jodi. You got it, Colette? And once you send that to me, I can't take it that you tell me on a broadcast. I have to be able to prove that you told me to put you on the list. That's Coco? How are things your way? Great, Coco. We're delighted to see you. Big hugs to you. How are things in Oklahoma? Coco, you would remember Ozzie Becker. You're old time. You're from way back when. Yeah, in Oz, that's right. It's her birthday this week, so I'm going to be putting up a notice later in the week. But I think it's the 8th. Hang on, what date is her birthday? Let me scroll back here. 18th, yeah, I was right. It was the 18th. So, and Nana's anniversary is coming up on the 27th. Is that correct, Nana? Or is she gone already? And Liz's is on the 29th. So I'll keep you all informed and I'll put the notices up on those days if I get everything working in the right direction. So understand we're doing a surprise broadcast tomorrow instead of Sunday because I'm going to be guests of somebody that may not want me to be broadcasting from their house while they're there. And I totally would understand that. But they're going to be out tomorrow night. So it'll be easy for me to do a broadcast while they're out. This is DearMamaSal saying, I hope this has helped you a little bit. How many of you feel that you've got a better idea of this? How many of you are going to do something constructive about making your life better this week? Okay? Not waiting for something else to happen. This is like, I will do what I can to make my life more amusing. I want to take a step forward. I want to overcome a fear. Jodi, I'm going to let go of my perfectionism. I don't have to be, a top-rated artist. I need to throw wet colored water at paper. Just to show people that I did. You see, that is what it's about. And if I catch you going, oh, well, it wasn't good enough to show everybody, we don't care. Wet water is what it's about. And just huck some at some paper and we will let you pass the exam, Jodi. And if you don't send us that picture, you know you're going to be in big trouble. Kerry, thank you for volunteering. If you would like, Kerry, maybe send me an email and tell me what it is, the issue that you'd like me to work with so that I can sort of do that in a more focused way for you. All right, everybody. So thank you very much for being here. Look after yourselves, please. Look after one another, but just really look after yourselves first because, somebody has to. So, guys, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Big hugs. very proud of you all for doing this work. It's not easy work to do, so it shows that you care about yourself, that you're doing it. We'll see you tomorrow. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now.